Right. It's been a while. I don't know actually. How long has it been? I don't know. A week, 2 weeks. Since the last talk. Um, and it's not that I haven't had time to do it really, or the motivation to do it. I've kind of felt like doing it, but it's just other people, or other things have been kind of getting in the way. You know how it is. I'm a busy man. I'm not busy actually. But anyway, so today, the topic of discussion. Oh shit! I think I've just knocked my pole there. Don't want to be knocking your pole. That's not good, is it? Is X Factor slash talent shows. So basically, you know the kind of format like X Factor or Britain's Got Talent. Uh, the Voice? That's the other one. And that kind of thing. And I noticed this is kind of coming from a comment that I think it was Dermot O'Leary made. He said something like the X Factor should go off the air for a year. I'm not really sure why he said that, to be honest, or what triggered that. That might have been completely taken out of context. Um, Let me try and find that article quickly. Okay, right. So this is the quote that I found. Um, so someone asked him. This is an interview for RadioTimes.com. Uh, they've said, if you were Simon Cowell, what would you do now? And he's replied, if I was Simon, I'd probably take it off for a year. I'd rest it and then I'd get back to the rooms. The room auditions are great. For me, it was always room, arena, boot camp. Also, I was really uncomfortable about the 6 chair challenge. I agree. I didn't really watch it when they brought in that. The last few years, I haven't really watched X Factor, to be honest. Um, he carries on. I don't think it's a particularly nice bit of television. One of the reasons people like Strictly is because Strictly is a very warm show, and I think you've got to keep that in mind. Um, and I mean, I think that's the main point that I want to be making, really, is that I really think they should rest it. Um, I think for longer than a year, though, to be honest. I think what they need at this point is a kind of nostalgic feel for people to come back to. I mean, right, this is what I would do if I was them anyway. Take it off for about 5 years. Well, I would say at minimum 3 years. To be honest, it's got to be enough time for people to look back on it and think, "God, that was good." To kind of forget the later years that weren't quite so good and think about other classic lineup like Simon, Louis, Sharon. I think that the original lineup, or was there another one? I don't know when Cheryl came into it, but was it no? Danny came in first. Oh, I don't fucking know. But yeah, oh shit, knocking my pole again. I think they've got to get to a position where the people like myself that don't really enjoy watching it anymore look at it and think, "God, I kind of miss that," because I think the first year after it, the first year that's not on, people are probably going to think, well, great, we've got a bit of a rest from that show. Obviously, there are going to be some people that miss it, but the people that miss it are the people that are watching it at the moment, and clearly that's not enough to kind of continue with the show. I mean, the point of taking it off and bringing it back would be to get more people, right? So who are the people that you're bringing back? The people that don't like it, right? So you've got to find a way of getting them to like it again. I mean, I used to love the X Factor when I was younger. It was that was the Saturday night show. There was like Ant and Dex Saturday Night Takeaway and then X Factor, or the other way around, whatever it was. And it was brilliant. It was on every week. It was great fun. You're really invested in each of the singers and all of that, and it was a great show. But now I feel like it's gotten a bit stale. Especially with the kind of controversies about fixing it and stuff like that. I think it's gotten a bit too heavy in that direction. So I think they really need to like freshen it up. I'm trying to think of like when they lost me. 'Cause like I say, it's the last few years really, maybe the last 3 or 4 years that I haven't really watched it because I just don't care anymore. I don't really care for like emotionally investing myself in something that's not really worth it, because you do get to the point where you really like certain singers, and if they don't do well, you feel a bit cheated. I mean, I wouldn't vote for them, so I suppose I can't really complain. I was, one of those people that would kind of say, "Oh, this person's clearly the best," but I'm not going to spend my money to vote for them to win. But then I'll get angry when they don't win, which is obviously a bit silly. Um, but yeah, I think it might have been around the kind of Jedwoods area. When was that? That was about 5 years ago, wasn't it? Because I mean, just as an example, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but I remember they kept getting put through. Like they must have been in the bottom two, maybe 3 or 4 times, and the judges, for some fucking reason, after slating them week after week, every time they would say, you're shit. Why are you even on this show? And they get put in the bottom two with someone that can actually sing, and then they go and save Jedward. And I remember just thinking, what? This is just, how can you say that is not fixed? I mean, from a producer's point of view, they're good to have on the show because they're causing controversy, right? They're getting views. There are people that like Jedward that are tuning in to watch just them, and people that are spending money as well. That's the thing as well. People see Jedward in it and they think, well, shit, I don't want them to win, so I'll spend my money to make sure they don't win. If Jedward's not in there anymore, then they'll kind of take a back seat and think, right, great, well that's my bit done. I'll stop voting now because I don't really care. As long as they don't win, I don't care who does win. So they kind of, I think they were keeping them in for that reason. So I reckon it was fixed to an extent. Which obviously isn't good for that kind of thing. Something where people are spending money, if they're getting outraged every week because some fucking shit act is going through week after week when no one wants them to, it's frustrating. And I think that's probably the point, roughly, where I got a bit lost. I mean, I just couldn't be bothered with all the hassle, and just. It's just about being like emotionally invested in something that's so frustrating. It's almost like playing a game that you don't enjoy playing. It's like there is no return from all of this frustration. I mean, if you're playing a game and it's a difficult game and it's fun at times, and then in the end you win and it's great, it's brilliant. So it's worth it. But it was like you're emotionally invested. Some people are even spending money trying to get their favourite act to win, and then what are you getting back? Nothing, because it's very rare that the best one actually wins. Actually, the only example that I can think of when the best person has won is last year's Voice, where Stevie McCrory won. He was, from the fucking start, he was an incredible singer. And I'm a bit worried about what they're turning him into now, but what can you do? Fantastic voice, and he went on to win, and I was really pleased with that. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Someone that is clearly one of the best singers has won. I mean, in comparison to, was it the season before that maybe? Or maybe the first season, where I think her name was Andrea Begley. Now, I'm sure she's not going to be listening to this, but no offence if you are. She was a nice singer. She was nice, right? She had a nice voice, and that's as far as it went. She wasn't anything amazing. She had a nice voice, and she was blind, right? Or severely visually impaired. And I think the judges knew exactly what was going to happen, because her coach was Danny, whatever his fucking name is, from the Script. And he played that show like a game, because he knew exactly what was going to happen. The audience are people of a certain demographic, right? And they're going to sympathise with her. And realistically, she didn't have the best voice on the show. Not by a long shot. There were several other singers that were so much better than her. She was like a middle of the park singer. Nothing special at all. I mean, clearly, like, what's happened since then? I think she brought out an album, but clearly nobody gave a shit, really. And then she's just disappeared again. She's probably, I don't know, working at Tesco's or whatever she was doing before. So, and I think that's one thing as well that doesn't really appeal to me. It makes me kind of pissed off that they offer so much, a record deal, £1 million contract, whatever. And then as soon as they realise that they're not going to really do anything, they drop them. It's like, I think was it Steve Brookstein, whatever, the first winner of the X Factor. I think he had quite a lot to say about that as well, because they didn't really treat him very well. Or probably other people as well that have kind of wanted to have their own input into their own music, which is fair enough, surely. But then they've been told, like, no, you can't do that. You've got to do what we're telling you. This is the deal. We're giving you this record deal, so you've got to do what we tell you, right? Basically, that's how it's going to go. And then they don't like that, and then they break away or whatever. It doesn't work out, and it's bollocks. It's just the focus should be on the artist. They've won the competition. They've done their bit. They've worked hard. I mean, slight tangent. In terms of working hard to make it, going on the X Factor is a fucking shortcut, right? The people that work hard for years and years and years and have got so much talent, they never make it. And then like a 16-year-old with, a cute face and not really much talent goes on the X Factor, gets put in a fucking boy band, and suddenly they're in One Direction and they're in the biggest fucking boy band in the world, and they're getting paid millions, and what a load of bollocks that is. They become a fucking puppet for Simon Cowell to just feed them music, and they're just fake. It's another tangent. One Direction, I mean, fucking hell, they are just puppets. They're just faces. They're pretty faces with reasonable voices that when put together have clearly become very popular, and it's not necessarily because of the songs, and I'm sure fans will argue with me about that. And if you are a fan of One Direction, please do comment below about how much you love them or whatever. It's just an opinion, isn't it? This is my opinion. Tell me your opinion. Let's not fall out over it. But realistically, that they're not a band. They don't play instruments. They don't write their own songs. I mean, perhaps you could argue they have some kind of contribution to some of their songs, but they certainly don't sit together, as a group and say, let's write a song, and then fucking go and write an album. They don't do that. And if you're kind of fooling yourself that that's what happens, then I'm sorry, but it's not. So if you like the songs, that's not even them. But anyway, back to the point. What the fuck was my point? So the X Factor and shows like that will kind of mould you to what they want, and ultimately they want a pop star, right? So if you've got a bit of a different voice, like Stephen McCrory, he's got a fantastic rock vocal. He's really, really good. The passion that he's got. I mean, obviously, if you had a look on his YouTube channel and stuff like that, he's done some like pop covers, like he covered Wrecking Ball and Someone Like You. So it's not like he's been dragged into that mainstream pop. He's already doing that. So on that side of it, I don't really feel bad for him, because it seems like he's doing what he wants. Whereas someone who is clearly like a rock singer is not going to stand a chance on any talent show really, because again, talking about like the demographics of the people that the show is aimed at. And I mean, here's another point to oh fuck, I keep standing on this fucking mic stand. Here's another point to bear in mind. The people that watch the show are not necessarily the people that are voting, right? Not everyone that watches The Voice is going to vote. I mean, personally, I watch the clips on YouTube as opposed to watching the actual show, because I can't be bothered with all the bollocks. I mean, another tangent slightly. The reactions from the judges on The Voice are complete bullshit. Clearly, they've been told that they can't make negative comments. I think it's nice to be positive and everything, but when you don't turn around for someone, you've clearly made that choice. You do not want them on your team, and then every single time you say, "Oh well, I don't know why I didn't turn around. Oh, you're amazing. I don't understand." And that they weren't that great. Just tell them, you've got problems here and here and here, because it's no point. There's no point just being so. It just feels so fake and so weird. There's just something. It's especially will.i.am. He's just so kind of over the top with his like quirkiness and happiness. And I love him. If I was going to be on The Voice, I would probably choose will.i.am, because I think he'd be the most interesting to work with and offer something a bit different. But at the same time, it's so fake. The reactions that they give, it's just what a load of bollocks. And that's really something that's put me off The Voice. When it first started, I thought, oh, this is great. This is much better than the X Factor and all that bollocks. But it's not really. It's not at all. And I remember another specific example. I think it was, I don't know what season it was. It might have been the first season, might have been the second. I don't know. How many have we had now? The Voice, is it 3, 4? I don't know. will.i.am had one place left on his team, and there was one audition left, right? So the final person, doesn't matter who they are, is going to be on his fucking team, right? And it was this singer, he was alright. It was this bloke, I don't know what he sang, but it was average. It was average. And will.i.am went fucking crazy. He was like, you're the best singer, this is what I've been waiting for. You're perfect, blah, blah, blah. It's just, what a load of wank. But anyway, getting back to my original point, finally. So yeah, I think they should take talent shows in general off the air. But obviously it's not going to be the same people. Well, I would imagine anyway, it's not the same people that control all of them. Obviously Simon Cowell's got the X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, but I would imagine it's someone else that owns The Voice, maybe. I don't know. If it's Simon Cowell that owns that as well, then that's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? But I think if X Factor goes down, then the rest are going to crumble with it, because it's that kind of rivalry, like between the X Factor and The Voice. That's how The Voice is big in the first place. It's because of shows like X Factor and Pop Idol. Without them, it's just a bit shit, really, isn't it? And I think if the X Factor goes off the air, I mean, one of two things can happen, right? X Factor goes off the air, The Voice either becomes massive in the X Factor's absence, or they just drop down because everyone kind of loses interest in that kind of show. The X Factor's like made that decision, that step, like, well, it's not cool anymore, And then The Voice is like, okay then. Well, fuck, our viewing figures are plummeting, And I think it's probably more likely to be the second one, to be honest. And then obviously the X Factor can swoop in. I think it would only be right to put the X Factor back when people really want it, when people are really going to be excited about that news, I mean, like when everyone looks at that news that the X Factor's coming back and thinks, fucking fantastic, the X Factor, I missed the X Factor, that was a great show, wasn't it? But that's not going to happen after just like one or 2 years. Being on once a year is not enough. I'm sure some people do miss it, year to year. They kind of, yeah, X Factor's back, yeah, great. But, to kind of perform in the way that it could be and should be performing, pardon me, I think they need that break. They need that breather. And then, again, when they come back, they could go either down one or two routes. Either go with the nostalgic feel, bring back all the classic judges, take it right back to the beginning, like Dermot O'Leary said, room auditions, boot camp, whatever, and just make people feel like it's the same as it was. Bring those memories, the good memories that people have of the show, draw them out, put them back into the show, and please those kind of feelings of nostalgia, because that's going to be great. That's going to bring in so many viewers. Or secondly, what they could do is just completely change it up. In those 5 years, if circumstances change, if you feel like, or if Mr. Cowell feels like it's not really relevant anymore, to use a format from 15 years ago or whatever, then completely change it up, scrap it, start again. Start right from the beginning. If technology's changed, if there's like a better way of auditioning people or whatever, I don't know. And if the Voice has kind of, crashed and burned as well since then use that as kind of, learn from that. Learn from other shows. Look at Britain's Got Talent, if that's even still running as well. See how that's doing. Change the format a little bit. Keep things fresh. You can't just, stop where they are and then carry on exactly as you left off. That's not going to work. not gonna fucking work. I mean, I'm no expert, I'm fucking nobody, but it's just my opinion. At the end of the day, just my opinion. So yeah. Fucking hell, how long is this? 24 minutes? Jesus. Well, thanks for listening. All of you 0 people that have listened to this. And once again, if you did find this, please tell me how you found it, because I'm still curious. I think over the past 2 videos, I've still averaged 0 views. I got one view on the first one and 0 on the second, I think. So, yeah. That'll be all for now. I don't really know how to end. This is always a bit awkward, isn't it? I don't like ending these. I never know what to say. So, goodbye. How about that? Bye? Yeah. See ya.